Hey guys, Joey from JPRC, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to tune your SCX10 II shocks from this jittering effect to make it silky smooth like this. Hey, what's going on guys? Joey from JPRC, and today we're having a get-together for a scale trailing crawling fun at the backyard track right here. This is the backyard trail for NBRC, and that's Jermaine right there. He's a pro driver and he'll be competing at the U4RC National this year. And today I wanted to test out a new shock setup. I just finished rebuilding the shock on this SCX10 II yesterday. So what I did was I bleeded the shocks and put a diaphragm in there. Now as you know, the SCX10 II, the stock shock setup, if you have been building the kit version or the RTR version, you will notice that according to the build instruction, there is a little bit of space that you have to put in the shock cylinder. So the problem with that is that it has a little bit of air pockets and it's combined with the oil, so it's making the damping very inconsistent. So what I've done is just bleeded the shocks and put a diaphragm in there, and now there actually seems to be buttery smooth. So I wanted to show you guys how it's done, and today I want to test it out here and I'll show you guys how the shocks are done. Now check this out. This one has minimum air bubble inside the cylinder. So as you can see here, I'm making the full stroke. It doesn't make that noise with the bubble going through the piston. As you can see, this is very consistent from the full stroke to the full compression and full extension. Now if you check out this one without the mod on it, is now you can hear that it's making that noise when you're doing a frequent stroke right there. So definitely this one with the mod here, it's gonna make it silky smooth, and here's how I did it. Now first of all, you're gonna have to disassemble the shock body and everything together, and you also should clean up everything before you even start working on it. If you're having any problem with gripping the top cap, go ahead and grab a piece of clear tape, wrap around the body, and then you'll be able to grip it and unlock it easy. And once you got the cap off, go ahead and drain the oil inside the shock cylinder. Make sure just to get all of the old oil out as much as possible. Now for the cap, we're gonna go ahead and pick out the little rubber seal O-ring in there. We're not gonna be using it going forward from here because we have our own diaphragm. And then from there, you can clean up the cap. Make sure you clean it up as much as possible with paper towel or a wet towel. And this tiny little push pin is what we're gonna use to make a little bleeding hole right under the ball end right cap. It only has to be a tiny little hole. It doesn't have to be big, so you don't really have to go crazy and go all the way through it. And as you can see, it takes out just a tiny little bit hole to make sure that you can see through it with a tiny little hole there just to let the air in and out. Again, you don't have to make it super big. A tiny little hole is good enough. And the key to the hole coming out, it has to come in within the circle under the cap right there. As you can see, you want to make sure that you get inside the center, at least within the circle. You don't want to be on the edge because then it's going to cause the sealing issue. And while I have everything open, I went ahead and cleaned up the end of the shock cap and the O-ring in there, and I also re-greased everything with the AE green slime. This is really the magic sauce for most of my shock tuning to make it more durable and prevent leaky shocks, so make sure you pick one up for yourself. And also, I installed a shock bump stop right there at the bottom of the end cap. I don't know why Axial did include it on this kit version because most of the time they have these on their shocks. This is gonna help make it more durable and prevent the hard impacts when you're having a fast, hard compression. Now this is the most critical next step in filling the oil in these shocks. You want to be able to do it consistently without leaving any bubbles inside when you close the cap. So what you have to do, and by the way, I'm using the 20 weight oil in here instead of the 30 weight because these are going to go to the rear end of the truck. And go ahead and fill in the oil in there. You don't have to be exactly precise of 5 or 6 millimeters. Just approximate is good enough. We can do finer adjustments later. Now once you got all the oil in there, slowly compress the stroke all the way up. Now notice any bubble is gonna come up, and also do a couple of strokes before you actually bring it all the way up, and carefully bring it up. And as you can see from this level, you are having a little bit of excess oil in here, and now we know for a fact that there's no bubble inside. So you don't want to tilt it to the side to drain the oil out, but the easy trick in here, just use a tiny little piece of paper and go ahead and dip it into the oil, and from there you can get rid of the excess oil. And just roughly, as you can see with the stroke fully compressed, Just get rid of a little bit, a tiny little drop is good enough, just like this, so you can see that it kind of concave down a little bit, and that kind of will contour to the diaphragm when we close the cap. And let's pull the shaft out and put it away. Now here is the diaphragm from the RC18 kit. It comes as a package with the shock rebuild kit. It's about $10 on eBay. You can find it anywhere, and all we need is just to use the diaphragm from this. And go ahead and drop in the diaphragm on the shock right there. It will automatically slide into the right place. Give it a couple of taps if it's not perfectly seated. And to me, this is almost like it's perfectly made for it. And lastly, go ahead and close the cap. And you don't really have to close it like super tight, and just finger tight is good enough. And once you're done, there you have it, and repeat the same for all other shocks. And this shock right now, it is silky smooth. And I really like how it came out because it really saved me a lot of money. And if you're not ready to spend another $100 on a brand new set of expensive shocks, this is definitely the alternative route to go. And there you have it. That was an easy mod, doesn't cost any money, and is super smooth right now at any stroke. So let's take it outside and run it. Alright guys, so there you have it. That was the shock modification video for these stock shocks right there. So far they worked out pretty good for me, and they're like buttery smooth even though after a couple hours of running it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thumbs up, subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Hey, just wanna check it out again. We're running out there with caking a lot, and the chassis is actually pretty clean from the dirt with the fender kit in there. Working pretty good.